What's the purpose of the Unite event?
Well, really for us, it's how do we educate an industry that's changing, and how technology is changing and everything's changing every day. Brick and mortar is having to change along with it. Brick and mortar retail outlets. So how do we do that? Omni-channel retailing and those types of aspects that we're trying to educate our store owners on how to be relevant in their communities, and not just in terms of selling product, but how do they interact in their communities? For example, a lot of times our stores are connection points for many churches in the area because they can cross denominations. So we really see our stores as really the sort of mission points or missionaries in community is a way we like to think of them. And so one of the things we do at this event is really how do we equip those people to do what they do every day, but to do it better, and to give them new ideas about how to change the face of retail going forward, because it's very different today. You can purchase product online. You can go out all different places, but I think our customers say we see ourselves in those stores. Those stores represent us. They care about what we care about. They share our values. And so I think our customers that shop our Christian retail stores really feel a sense of belonging there. And so we're really trying to basically encourage our stores to think differently about how they do retail. For example, doing events and things like that. Talks on maybe various different topics that are challenging. What does God say about certain things? What does God say about parenting? What does God say about adoption? What does God say? What does God's word say about these things? And our stores can then hold events and have speakers and presenters and authors come in and talk about those things. And that's a way. You can do these things in churches, and that happens all the time. But how do you get churches to unite together in a community? And I think sometimes the Christian store can be that vantage point or that place of opportunity where it's more neutral. They think of it as neutral, where you might not darken the door of a church, but you feel comfortable going into a Christian store to hear about these kinds of things. So this is where we're trying to help stores position themselves and understand the role that they can play in their own communities.
Well, let's talk about the theme for this year's event. It's Envision the Legacy. How does that play into this overall convention?
Yeah, so, one of the things, it's difficult. I think a lot of stores are concerned about, maybe lack of traffic and things like that. Obviously, we want to encourage them in ways that they can reach their community more and more and build traffic. But at the same time, it's also to take a step back and say, we're part of this larger legacy. CBA has been around for 67 years. It started in 1950. So there's a legacy of history with us. But the idea of envisioning a legacy is also, what's the legacy that we're creating today? And how do we go forward into the future with some of the ideas and things that we're trying to put together to help encourage stores to do things differently? And what is the legacy that they're going to leave going forward in their communities or in the places that they do business? And it's just kind of taking a step back and saying it's really important to acknowledge the legacy we've been a part of, but what are we also doing to build that legacy going forward into the future?